A man engrossed in his job, he refuses an invitation to hang out after work and stays overtime. Later that day he is exhausted, and on his way home he's hit by a truck and dies. His soul is reincarnated into the body of an infant. Years later the boy is seen hunting 8-year-old Shin Wolford lives with his grandfather in the forest. His grandfather, called Merlin, teaches him magic and is glad he doesn't have to shout out spells and incantations like an anime character. They are visited by Melida Bowen, a magic tool enchanter and friend of Merlin. She scolds him for hunting despite being so young. Mitchell Calling, who is Shin's combat instructor, cuts in and is impressed by his achievement. 2 years later, Merlin decides to teach Shin how to hunt for demons. He demonstrates how to use search magic once, but Shin imitates his spell. In one try, Shin locates a demon with his search magic, and they hurry to its location. However, Shin rushes at the demon and slays it before Merlin could do anything. One day after his brutal training with Mitchell, Merlin reveals to Shin that he isn't his real grandson, and explains how he saved him from the aftermath of a demon attack. Shin tells him he was already aware, but still regards him as his only family. On his 15th year birthday, his manhood is celebrated by his little family. He's asked what he wants to do next, but during the conversation Shin realizes he has no idea of the outside world, as he had always been with Merlin, who spoils him. The group arrives in a wilderness where Shin is to demonstrate his spell using his knowledge of science. Shin is able to use a fire spell with the power of a nuclear blast. Everyone is shocked by its destructive power, and Milda scolds Merlin for failing to teach Shin how to hold back. At the cabin they decide that Shin is too overpowered to just roam free, so he's asked to enroll in the capital's magic academy by his uncle, who reveals to Shin that he is actually the king of the nation. Along with him are Christina Hayden and Siegfried Marcus, who Shin had no idea are high-ranking government officials. King Disem explains that both Merlin and Mild are regarded as heroes who saved the nation from a demon attack years ago. Shin heads to the capital with Merlin and Milda, where they are given a VIP welcome in a mansion. Shin heads to town to explore. In evening he stumbles on some adventurers assaulting a girl, so he confronts them and easily handles their attack. After saving the girl, he's thanked by another cute lady who Shin falls in love with. The girls introduce themselves as Maria and Cecilia. They are surprised when Shin reveals that just like them, he too would be taking Magic Academy entrance exams. They talk enthusiastically about the arrival Merlin and Nilda, who they refer to as the wise man and guru. Maria notes that she hopes their grandson would fall for her, and Shin starts getting uncomfortable with the topic, not wanting to reveal himself, so he excuses himself from the conversation. On the day of the exam, Shin is confronted by a noble, but he puts him in his place. He introduces himself as Kurt von Ritzberg, but Shin has no idea about nobility. The commotion is curbed by the crown prince called August von Earshade, and Shin and the prince eventually get along easily. During the practical exam, each of the other applicants chant incantations only to produce useless spells. Shin is completely embarrassed by their level of magic. When it's Shin's turn, he's warned by the instructor to keep his power under control. Unfortunately, he destroys the room unintentionally. Shin comes out on top. After the exam, he is given his uniform along with August the prince. At night, Shin re-enchants his uniform to suit his needs. He arrives at the entrance ceremony with his guardians, who are treated like celebrities. Shin is invited to give his speech as the top scorer. Maria and Cecilian are shocked. He's the Weissman's grandchild. Later the girls ask for Shin's help. They explain that Kurt was mistreating Cecilian using his family's influence. When Kurt arrives at the scene, he tries to grab her, but Shin stops him. Cecilian explains that even though she declined his proposal, he still continues to hound her. Prince August cuts in and promises to report his actions to the authorities. Shin invites Cecilian to his mansion. However, Maria offers to join in along with the prince and his escorts Julius and Thor. Shin introduces the group to his guardians. He takes permission to override Cecilian's uniform enchantment to keep her safe. Milda explains to her the severity of having Shin use his top-rated skill on her, so Cecilian breaks down in tears, admitting to taking advantage of Shin's kindness. She apologizes and tries leaving. However, she is stopped by Milda, who commends her for her honesty after he enchants Cecilia's uniform. He's told to keep his skill a secret. However, he ended up enchanting the uniforms of the entire group except that of Maria. At her request, Shin opens a gate which the group uses in teleporting to his cabin in the forest. Shin arrives in class with Maria and Cecilian. August tries to tease him for arriving with ladies but doesn't succeed. A disoriented girl arrives to interrupt their chat. She introduces herself as Alice Corner. The teacher arrives and takes the student on a tour around the school. He talks about different clubs available for them to join. Julius is excited to join a bodybuilding club, so August permits him to. He suggests that Shin creates his own club, and the teacher approves, so his other classmates decide to join in. In a meeting, the cabinet reports to the king that demon activities are increasing rapidly around the kingdom. He orders a thorough investigation by the Demon Hunters Society at home. Kurt's father scolds his son, saying he is being penalized by the king because of his activities in the academy. Kurt doesn't feel sorry for his actions. He talks as if being possessed, so his father punches him, hoping to reset his character. The servants are ordered to lock him up. At school, the group talks about Kurt's drastic change in character, and August noted that it all began after he started visiting a blind teacher's laboratory. Mr. Strom, who is the blind teacher, visits Kurt's home. He tells him to get revenge on Shin, so he corrupts Kurt with his magic even more at school. Shin and his friends receive the news that Kurt has been grounded. Cecilian is saddened by the news because there would be no more need for Shin to keep escorting her. However, Shin states that he doesn't intend on stopping. During the conversation, he tells the group he once hunted a demon bear at the age of 10. They make a big deal out of it, so he regrets talking at all. They head for the study group. Shin senses a demon's presence. It turns out to be Kurt, who immediately shoots an attack at them. Shin conjures a shield. He tells the others to channel energy into their uniforms. He succeeds in stopping the attacks but sustains damage. However, auto-healing kicks in thanks to his enchantment. Kurt loses control and turns into a demonoid, so Shin tells the others to run away. Allow him to handle the situation. As the two fighters fire attacks at each other, Shin notices that Kurt can still speak despite being demonized, so he attacks with spells that wouldn't kill him. Kurt starts gathering up magical powers to self-destruct, so Shin slays him with his sword before he destroys the entire academy. Shin is devastated that he killed someone, so he asks if he could have chosen a different course of action. Later, he tells the group he thinks Kurt's transformation might be man-made. He suggests that he may have been experimented on.